Can a polo shirt actually replace a dress shirt when you are wearing a suit? It is a question that divides menswear like almost nothing else. Traditionalists call it sacrilege. Modernists call it the future. And the truth lives somewhere far more interesting than either extreme. To understand why this debate even exists, you need to understand where the polo shirt came from. It was not born in a boardroom or on a runway. It was born out of frustration on a tennis court. The year was 1926. French tennis legend René Lacoste was competing at the US Open, and he was miserable. Not because of his opponent, but because of his outfit. Traditional tennis shirts were starched, stiff, fully buttoned, and had long sleeves. The weave trapped heat. The collar choked. The fabric stuck to skin. Every match felt like playing inside a straitjacket. So Lacoste did something radical. He redesigned the shirt entirely. He cut the long sleeves short, and he replaced the rigid collar with a soft, flexible one that could be turned up to block the sun. He swapped the full button front for a simple 3-button placket that could be loosened at the neck. He also made the back slightly longer than the front so the shirt would stay tucked during play. The result was functional, elegant, revolutionary peak cotton that would change men's style forever. Now here's a detail most people don't know. Lacoste had a nickname, the Crocodile. It came from a bet he made with the captain of the French Davis Cup team over a crocodile skin suitcase. Lacoste was promised the suitcase if he won a particular match. He never did. But the press loved the story, and the name stuck. When Lacoste partnered with André Gillier in 1933 to mass-produce his shirt, the L.12.12 bore a small, embroidered crocodile on the chest. It was the first logo ever placed on the outside of a garment. Around the same time, British tennis champion Fred Perry was developing his own polo design in England, featuring the now iconic laurel wreath logo. The polo shirt was becoming a global phenomenon. But the man who truly turned this athletic garment into a cultural icon was not French or British. He was American. In 1972, Ralph Lauren introduced a short-sleeve cotton mesh shirt in 24 colors. It featured a polo player embroidered on the chest, and it came with a tagline that told you everything you needed to know about the ambition behind it. Every team has its color. Polo has 17. The shirt became an instant sensation. Frank Sinatra reportedly walked into a store and bought 20 of them in a single trip. Muhammad Ali wore them. Barack Obama wore them. Leonardo DiCaprio wore them. The polo shirt transcended sport, transcended class, transcended generations. In 2017, the Ralph Lauren polo was added to the Museum of Modern Art's permanent collection as part of the items. Is fashion modern? Exhibit. A cotton shirt with 3 buttons hanging in the same institution as Picasso and Warhol. So the garment has pedigree. It has cultural weight. But can it hold its own against a dress shirt when paired with a suit? Let's talk about what the polo actually is in the hierarchy of menswear. It sits in that fascinating middle ground between a t-shirt and a dress shirt. Too casual for a boardroom. Too polished for a barbecue. It is the perfect garment for the countless moments in modern life that live between formal and casual, and that territory is expanding every single year. This is smart casual at its absolute finest. The case for pairing a polo with a suit is stronger than it's ever been, and it didn't happen overnight. Think about Don Johnson in Miami Vice in the mid-1980s. Pastel polo shirts under suit jackets. No tie. Sleeves pushed up. It looked effortless, and it set a trend that ran through the entire decade. Sean Connery actually wore a polo as James Bond in Goldfinger, an ivory polo with khaki trousers, proving that even Bond understood the power of refined casualness. By the early 2000s, Pharrell Williams was pushing the polo into streetwear territory, influencing an entirely new generation. And now, in 2024 and into 2025, the polo is experiencing yet another resurgence. The tennis core aesthetic, fueled in part by the film Challengers and Zendaya's impeccable press tour styling, has brought sportswear-inspired fashion roaring back into the mainstream. Designers like Dries Van Noten, Loewe, Gucci, MSGM, and Sporty and Rich have all reimagined the polo on the runway. It's no longer your father's golf shirt. These are refined, grown-up garments with structured collars and elevated fabrics that feel genuinely at home next to tailored pieces. Even governments have gotten involved. In 2012, Japan's Ministry of the Environment endorsed the polo shirt with a suit as part of their Super Cool Biz initiative. The combination became a standard in the Japanese business scene. An entire nation essentially said, yes, this works. But here is where it gets nuanced. And this is where most men get it wrong. You cannot just throw any polo shirt under any suit and expect it to look intentional. The difference between looking like a style icon and looking like you forgot to finish getting dressed comes down to details. First, the collar. This is everything. Most polo shirts have what the industry calls a bacon collar, a limp, floppy collar that curls and wilts the moment it touches a lapel. That is the fastest way to ruin this look. You need a polo with a structured collar, one with enough body to sit cleanly against or above the suit's lapels without collapsing. Second, the suit itself. This combination works best with suits that lean casual. Choose notch lapels, the most relaxed lapel style. Choose patch pockets instead of jetted pockets. Favor textured fabrics like linen, cotton, or unstructured wool rather than high-shine worsted. A slim fit cut creates the best silhouette because it mirrors the clean lines of the polo underneath. You are building harmony between two garments that come from different worlds. Third, always tuck the polo in. This is not negotiable. An untucked polo under a suit jacket looks sloppy. Tucking it in creates that sharp, polished line that bridges the formality gap. Fourth, keep the colors considered. Tonal pairings are the safest. A navy suit with a navy polo in a slightly different shade, a charcoal suit with a black polo, and a tan suit with a cream polo. So do clean contrasts. A white polo under a navy suit is arguably the most timeless version of this look, but avoid loud patterns or oversized logos. And fifth, the shoes. Leather loafers are your best friend here. Chelsea boots work too. What does not work is anything that undercuts the elegance you have built from the waist up. No sneakers, definitely no sandals. Now the honest part. There are places this combination simply does not belong. Black tie events, traditional weddings where the invitation specifies formal attire, conservative corporate environments in finance, law, or consulting, job interviews at any company where you are not absolutely certain about the culture, funerals. These are non-negotiable dress shirt territories. René Lacoste said it best in 1983. Elegance is first and foremost about adapting clothes to the situation and circumstances. That quote is the entire answer to this question, distilled into one sentence. Can a polo shirt replace a dress shirt with a suit? Yes, but only when the situation calls for it. Smart, casual events. Business, casual workplaces. Summer gatherings. Creative industries, modern networking environments where rigid formality feels more like a costume than a statement. The polo shirt with a suit is a classic example of how using existing pieces in inventive ways can reap enormous rewards. It is not about breaking rules. It is about understanding which rules are fixed and which ones were always suggestions. The men who dress best are not the ones who follow every convention. They are the ones who know exactly when to deviate and how to do it with intention. So the next time you are standing in front of your closet, reaching for that dress shirt and tie, ask yourself, does this moment actually require it? Because sometimes the most sophisticated move you can make is knowing when to leave the tie in the drawer.